Hey, this is BloodyCajunMMA.com here with Crazy Tim Credeur at Gladiators Academy of Lafayette. I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for talking with us,
James,
man.
You always, put great stories up, so happy to help. No problem. Love to tell the people about it.
Appreciate it. Well, I'd like to start off with a few developments that have kind of changed the MMA landscape over the last couple months. Notably, the acquisition of Strikeforce by Zuffa.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on what that's going to bring to the game?
Well, I think there's some great athletes at Strikeforce, and I know, like right now, UFC is going to do business as usual, I guess, kind of with Strikeforce, and have their own Strikeforce cards and stuff. But eventually, everything will be enveloped into one major organization. And, if we look back at the history of other great sports, football, baseball, that's what Major League Baseball did. That's what the NFL did. They absorbed other smaller competing organizations until they became one, massive, national, and really, the UFC, international organization that can do things that are amazing for fighters, that can make the kind of money that gives back to fighters in a way that, only really fighters can appreciate and can understand. Point being, Lorenzo Fertitta and Dana White going on a 24, 36-month vision quest to try to find a bunch of cage fighters insurance. Insurance the way it is today and medical costs the way it is today, that's a monumental task. And, for them to come back with insurance for us that, helps us continue to train at 100% like professional athletes and covers us in the case of major problems, which, are, you can look at a UFC card today and see that there's 5 or 6 guys that were supposed to be on there 3 months ago that are not on there anymore. And those costs are incurred by the families of those fighters, and, that's a very difficult part of the sport. And, I attribute Dana and Lorenzo being a part of mixed martial arts. Both those guys train jiu-jitsu. Both those guys box. Both those guys kickbox. And they understand that it's part of the sport. And it's something that made it very difficult for us as fighters to make ends meet and keep ourselves doing this. So that's the kind of thing the absorption of Strikeforce is going to continue to build for us and going to continue to develop for us. We all know the UFC has some of the greatest fighters the world has ever seen. And the purchase of Strikeforce is adding to that. Now we have Tim Kennedy, amazing middleweight. Roger Gracie, amazing. Ronaldo Jacare de Souza. They brought Jake Shields in. We got Nick Diaz now. Gilbert Melendez now. There's a whole women's band. We don't know what's going to happen with that, but we can see that maybe some women are going to start showing up on UFC cards. That changed the game. The UFC is always changing the game, putting things in a place that we never ever thought it would go. So I think it's great, man. I just think those guys are unbelievable, and they're doing things that we can't even see yet. And I'm just proud to be a part of the team.
Well, a couple weeks back, you went to Vegas for the UFC Summit. What were some of the seminars that y'all had to sit through, and did it kind of interrupt your training at all?
Well, it doesn't really interrupt my training because there's so many great guys out there. Obviously, there's a bunch of other UFC fighters, and I got so many friends in the business. I've been in this business a long time. While I was out there, I had the opportunity to train with Dwayne Van Ludwig. Him and I go back 12, 15 years. Both of us were kids, 18, 19, 20 years old, going to have cage fights in the middle of the Zuffa casinos in the middle of nowhere, California, and going to dance clubs after, and we never saw ourselves going to be one day, UFC fighters and supporting our family. My other great friend, Yves Edwards, I was out there training with him, Manny Gamburian, Forrest Griffin, multiple-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion Robert Drysdale. And the UFC brought me out there. I stayed out there for about a week, trained with a bunch of good friends of mine, and got a bunch of great work in for my fight. And on top of it, man, the UFC presented us with some of the most amazing things for our careers. They take care of us on all levels, personal levels, tax levels, social media levels. How do we market our business? How do we build our brands? How do we work with them to work with us? How do we build our academies? How do we build this business of mixed martial arts to take it into the next forefront, to take the next step, to get to the next level? And, like I said, even the insurance thing, they presented that, but so much other stuff they presented to help us not only build ourselves, but build the brand of the UFC and the sport of mixed martial arts in general. We went over amazing stuff, you know, and we got to have dinner with Lorenzo and Dana and each other, and kind of understand that yes, we fight against each other, but we're professionals, man. We're beyond the days of getting mad at each other and talking a bunch of smack. Yeah, a little bit of that's done, a little bit of fight hype goes into it. I don't do that much of it. That's probably why I'm not that big of a name, but I'm not an expert in fight hype. But, really, man, we're all a family, and we're all a bunch of guys who saw a dream 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and gave our lives for it. And, now we're in Vegas, and we're just working on getting better and better and better every day. And it's a great opportunity to be with a company that really cares. It's really dedicated to growing us, not just as fighters, but as business people, as individuals, and, taking care of us with things like insurance and the new Twitter program that's giving bonuses to fighters, like $15,000 a month every quarter, just for letting people know what you're doing and letting people know how your training's going, and talking to fans. Other Major League Baseball, NFL, basketball, those guys are getting fined. Those guys are getting suspended from games for twittering stuff. We're getting bonuses. Our boss is giving us pats on the back and helping us develop a brand that's going to matter long after our fighting career is over. And it's just inspiring to have bosses and people that are so concerned not only with us, but with the business of MMA and the fans' experience, that it makes you want to fight that much harder. It makes you want to work that much harder. It makes you want to build your brand that much more, because there's people out there that believe in you, that are supporting you, that are sponsoring you, and that are going to be there, no matter what. So I'll be working with the UFC for the rest of my life. When my career's done and gone, I'll be putting other kids in there. And the UFC is going to be a brand that builds Louisiana into a mixed martial arts mecca one day. We finally got the UFC back. I guess we're waiting to talk about it.
Yeah, you kind of jumped the gun there on me, but yeah, obviously you're excited about the UFC coming back to South Louisiana, coming back to New Orleans, and I believe in September, if I'm not mistaken. Just give us your thoughts on that, man. And I
don't want to jump the gun, because I got a huge task ahead of me. June 4th, I got Ed Herman. He's a murderer. He's a destroyer. He's just one of the guys I want to fight, He's a gamer. He's a gangster. Fights hard. He's been in the game for so long. He's been an idol of mine and a hero of mine for a long time. Just as a hard worker and a dedicated athlete. And, I'm so excited about it. So I don't ever want to look past that.
Never.
Never. But when I heard that the UFC was coming back September 19th to New Orleans, I'd fight the devil. I would fight anybody. I'll fight Hurricane Katrina. I don't care who they bring for me to fight. I'll fight anybody. Because we all fight for different reasons, and we all have our own understanding of what martial arts is and what mixed martial arts is. But for me, it's about building people into better people, and this sport has definitely built me into a better person. It's definitely made me a better father, a better husband, and I want to share that. And if there's anybody out there I want to share it with more, it's my own community. The community of Louisiana and the fans of Louisiana mixed martial arts. Louisiana as a state has been through, tremendously difficult times, with oil prices and the oil business crazy, and Hurricane Katrina and the offshore oil well exploding. And this place has just been a nightmare. I think we're 49th in pretty much everything across the board: education, healthcare, road. It's just, it's a tough state, man. It's a tough place to come from. It's a blue-collar work ethic. It's a tough place. Nobody's giving you nothing. There's no silver spoons in nobody's mouths here. And, those are the people that are my people. Those are the people that I want to give back to. Those are the people that I want to come watch me fight. They've given me so much, and the opportunity to give back is humongous. I don't think there's a Louisiana fighter that doesn't want to be on that card, so yeah. Absolutely I want to be on that card. And I don't care who I'm fighting. I'll fight Cain Velasquez. I'll fight anybody. It doesn't matter to me, but it's just a huge opportunity. We finally got him back. It's been almost 10 years, and it's been a tough road, but finally, because of so many talented fighters, Patrick Berry, Melvin Guillard, Rich Clemente, Kyle Bradley, even Charlie Rader on this last Ultimate Fighter. Guys that have been just grinding and grinding and grinding, trying to make it, to that big show. And enough guys have put forth that Louisiana banner to where we've built a fan base to where the UFC is coming back. And, we won't disappoint.
Well, as you kind of
I
mentioned,
forgot Dustin Poirier, gamer, gangster, the future of Louisiana MMA. He's coming.
Watch
Better
out.
get John Young, whatever your name is, UK kickboxer. You better get your seatbelt on. That kid's gonna smash you June 11th.